Welcome back to CTV News Weekend. I'm Jacqueline Milczarek. Well, back to school also means back to university, but it is a tough time for many students. The youth job market is really tough. There's talk of a double-dip recession, perhaps in the U.S. So where are the jobs and how do you get them? For more on this, we're joined by employment counselor Karen Lewis. And Karen, first thing is, when people start thinking about their careers, where are the jobs that, are achievable these days? What sectors of the economy?
So you're talking about people beginning to make career decisions. I think that we're looking at a range of fields. I mean, there are a lot of jobs out there in many sectors. The growth sectors are perhaps in a range of areas. There's growth in health, there's growth in education. Construction has been showing an up and down growth. It's hard to predict because of the kind of volatility of the economy, as you mentioned. So the growth, and in IT obviously, and in many areas, the question always is where people can use the strengths that they have. And finding what your strengths are and using them well in any sector would be good. Is
there any one sector, though, that, without doubt, they are going to be hiring? If you plan a career path, you are set.
You know what, I could guess a few, and I will, but I think that one has to be very cautious because of the way the market changes. Definitely, for example, healthcare is a good one, but again, it depends on what you go into in healthcare. People are at school because a lot of people are going back to school, so education again.
So doctor, nurse, teacher, those are pretty secure?
Teachers are a tough one right now. I have a lot of teachers I see. Even though there's a need for teachers, the question is whether government has the money to spend. So some are dependent on the budgets of different people. If you're depending on public money, then it depends on other factors like how much tax money is coming in and whether government is willing to spend it on certain priorities. So education, yes, but perhaps particular kinds of teachers and maybe secondary, post-secondary education teachers. But even that's a rough one. I would say that people just need to get to know the trends around them. For example, if you're interested in ecological issues, in environmental change, you can take that interest into many sectors.
Right.
And that might be smarter. Or if you're interested in social media or in IT, you can take that to many sectors.
Well, let me ask, those people who are born after 1980, what are they called? The millennial generation, is that what they're calling them? Okay, so they're now in their 20s, getting close to 30s, so they're presumably, at the height of trying to launch careers, get things going. When you talk to that generation, what are they reporting back to you about how difficult it is, and what's your advice to them?
Well, what they're reporting back is that it's very hard to get work when you come straight out of school. And so one of the things that I have to help them try and figure out is how do you get a job without experience? And how do you get experience, if you don't have a job? That's the rough one. So it's a lot about finding ways to keep yourself attached to the labor market, perhaps without a formal job to start off with. So perhaps getting some volunteer experience, interning, writing a blog, getting involved in a cause, keeping yourself connected to a sector, or just training in the evenings. And it's that balance between short-term income and long-term planning that's the challenge for a lot of young graduates.
Well, and a lot of them, too, have been told, don't worry, the baby boomers are retiring, there will be a job. So psychologically, it's a hard turn for sure. But you're saying start small and stay at it for a time, and you will be rewarded, right?
And be adaptable as much as you can, and creative and responsive to whatever you hear around you. That's important as well.
All right, employment counselor Karen Lewis, we appreciate it. Some good advice there.
Thank you.
To one of our top stories and the situation with Earl, as we've mentioned.